The holographic star map flickered once, then went completely dark. Trell watched as another human system vanished from the galactic network. His blue-gray feathers ruffled in agitation. This was the 47th colony to go silent in the past 3 hours. "Probably a technical error," he said, his voice carrying across the council chamber. "Humans and their unstable technology, always breaking down." Rena shifted in her water-filled suit. The aquatic delegate had been monitoring the situation longer than anyone else. "This is not a malfunction. Look at the pattern. Every human settlement, station, and vessel went offline at exactly the same moment. Coordinated, planned." The chamber erupted into chaos. Representatives from 200 species began shouting questions. Their translators created a wall of noise that echoed off the curved metallic walls. Trell raised one talon hand for silence. "Calm yourselves. We will send investigation teams. The humans probably had some catastrophic system failure. We will need to organize relief efforts." Dr. Cass, the insectoid scientist, tapped her data tablet with 2 of her 4 arms. Her compound eyes reflected the dim emergency lighting that had replaced the normal glow of the chamber. "I am reading 0 distress signals, 0 emergency broadcasts, 0 requests for assistance. In my 40 years of service, I have never seen an entire species go silent without asking for help." "Then what do you suggest happened?" Trell demanded. Before anyone could answer, every communication screen in the chamber lit up simultaneously. A human woman appeared on the displays. She wore a simple gray suit. Her hair was pulled back in a professional style. Her expression showed no anger, no sadness, just calm determination. "Members of the Galactic Council, I am Director Hayes, final ambassador of humanity to your organization. This message is pre-recorded. By the time you receive it, every human being, every human creation, every trace of our presence in your systems will be gone. We are not asking for permission. We are not seeking approval. We are simply informing you of a decision that should surprise no one who was actually paying attention." Trell felt his chest tighten. Around him, delegates sat frozen. Hayes continued. "For 83 standard years, humanity has requested fair representation in this council. We were denied. For 71 years, we have asked for trade agreements that did not tax us at rates 3 times higher than any other species. We were refused. For 62 years, we have proposed mutual defense treaties that would protect smaller species from pirate raids. You ignored us. For 59 years, we have shared our medical research, our engineering innovations, our cultural practices freely with all who asked. And in return, you passed legislation specifically designed to limit human growth, human influence, and human participation in galactic society." The human woman paused. When she spoke again, her voice remained steady. "We are not angry, we are simply done. Humanity withdraws from galactic society effective immediately. We are taking our people, our technology, our knowledge, and our future somewhere you cannot reach. Do not attempt to follow us. Do not attempt to contact us. We will not respond. This chapter of human history is closed." The screens went dark. For 10 full seconds, nobody spoke. Then the chamber exploded into arguments. Trell found himself shouting along with everyone else, but even he could not hear his own words over the noise. It took 20 minutes to restore order. When the delegates finally settled into their seats, a young mammalian counselor named Pren stood up. Her rabbit-like ears twitched nervously. "Perhaps we should discuss why they left," she said quietly. "They left because they are emotional and unstable," Trell shot back. "Good riddance." "They left because we made them feel unwelcome," Rena said. Her voice came through speakers on her environmental suit. "I have reviewed the records. Every single claim Director Hayes made is accurate. We did tax them unfairly. We did deny them representation. We did reject their proposals." "They were expanding too fast," another delegate argued. "They were establishing colonies in systems we had not yet surveyed." Because they asked permission to survey those systems and we delayed approval for decades, Pren added. She held up her data tablet. I have been reading the archived requests. Humans filed proper paperwork for everything. We just kept telling them to wait. Captain Lorne, a reptilian military officer, stood up. His scales caught the light as he moved. My ship received orders to investigate 3 nearby human colonies. We will depart within the hour. Perhaps when we see the situation firsthand, we can better understand what happened. Trell nodded. Agreed. This council is adjourned until we have more information. The delegates filed out slowly. Many of them were still arguing, some looked worried, a few seemed relieved. Rena stayed behind. She floated to the central display and pulled up historical records. Her worst fears began to confirm themselves as she scrolled through decades of denied requests, rejected proposals, and ignored warnings. The humans had not left suddenly. They had been preparing for this for a very long time, and the council had been too arrogant to notice. She pulled up one final document. It was a proposal from 42 years ago. A human diplomat had suggested creating a joint task force to improve infrastructure across council space. The proposal included detailed plans for upgrading power systems, medical facilities, and communication networks. It offered to share human innovations freely in exchange for fair partnership. The proposal had been rejected without discussion. Rena closed her eyes. Well, the part of her biology that served the same function. She already knew what Captain Lorne would find on those human colonies. Nothing, just empty buildings and silent streets. The humans had not needed rescuing. They had not suffered a catastrophe. They had simply walked away from people who never wanted them in the first place. And somehow, Rena suspected, the council would not realize what they had truly lost until it was far too late to matter. Captain Lorne's ship entered orbit around the colony planet without any resistance. No defense platforms challenged them. No communication requests came through. The world below looked peaceful and green, dotted with human settlements that still had lights on. Scan for life signs, Lorne ordered. The sensor officer, a small insectoid with delicate antennae, worked her controls for several minutes. Sir, I am detecting plant life, animal life in the wilderness areas, but 0 humanoid readings, 0 mammals of any size within the settlements. That is impossible. This colony had a population of 800,000. Yes, sir, I am aware, but they are gone. Lorne authorized landing near the largest city. The ship settled onto a designated landing pad that showed recent maintenance. Everything looked normal. The captain led a team of 12 officers down the ramp and into the empty streets. Dr. Cass had joined the mission. She walked beside Lorne, her 4 arms holding various scanning devices. Power grid is functioning at full capacity. Water treatment plants are operational. Climate control systems are active. Everything is running perfectly. They walked through a residential neighborhood. Houses stood with doors closed but not locked. Gardens bloomed with flowers. Solar panels tracked the sun automatically. A bicycle leaned against a fence. A child's toy sat on a porch step. But no people anywhere. Check inside some of the homes, Lorne said. His officers spread out. Lorne himself entered a 2-story house with a blue door. Inside, he found furniture arranged neatly. Family photos on the walls showed humans of various ages smiling at gatherings. The kitchen had dishes in the drying rack. A book lay open on a table, as if someone had just set it down intending to return. In the bedroom upstairs, the bed was made. Clothes hung in the closet. Personal items remained on the dresser. Nothing suggested panic, nothing suggested violence, just absence. Sir, you need to see this, one of his officers called from outside. Lorne found his team gathered at the local administrative building. Inside, they discovered the explanation. A massive holographic display showed a timeline. It detailed 40 years of secret planning. ship construction in hidden facilities, development of faster-than-light technology that surpassed anything the Council possessed, coordination between all human colonies to execute a simultaneous evacuation. They spent 4 decades preparing to leave, Dr. Cass said quietly, right under our noses. The display continued. It showed how humans had carefully removed every innovation they had contributed to galactic infrastructure. They had not sabotaged anything. They had simply taken back their own work. Lorne felt a chill run through his scales. Get me a connection to Council headquarters, priority channel. The communication took 3 minutes to establish. When Trell's face appeared on screen, he looked annoyed. Captain, your report. Sir, the colony is intact but abandoned. The humans evacuated everyone, all humans, even their pets, even their plants. They took everything that mattered to them and left everything else running perfectly. So they ran away like cowards. No, sir. They left like people who planned carefully and executed brilliantly. We need to check galactic infrastructure immediately. I believe they may have taken more than just their people. Trell's expression shifted to concern. Explain. Over the next 6 hours, the truth emerged. Medical facilities across Council space began reporting equipment failures. Not everything, just specific devices. When technicians investigated, they found that key components had been human innovations. The humans had shared the designs freely years ago. Other species had built copies, but they had never truly understood how the technology worked. Power grids on 14 worlds experienced rolling blackouts. Human engineers had quietly upgraded systems during routine maintenance contracts. They had made everything more efficient. Now those improvements were reverting to original specifications. The grids could not handle current demand. Communication relay stations began failing. Humans had designed a new signal processing method that increased bandwidth by 40%. They had published the research openly. Everyone had adopted it, but the underlying software had been maintained by human technicians who updated it regularly. Those technicians were gone. The updates stopped. The relay stations started having problems. On a mining station in the Outer Rim, water purification suddenly became 50% less efficient. Investigation revealed that a human biochemist had developed a new filtration membrane. She had given the design to the station manager as a gift. The station had been using it for 12 years. Nobody else knew how to manufacture replacement membranes. Rena compiled the reports. What she found horrified her. Humans had contributed to 62% of current galactic technology in some way, not because they kept secrets. The opposite. They had shared everything freely. They had helped anyone who asked. They had improved systems without taking credit. The Council had never realized how much they depended on that generosity. Because generosity becomes invisible when people take it for granted. Pren discovered something else. She found records of conflicts that had ended mysteriously over the past 50 years. 23 wars that had suddenly stopped with peace treaties nobody quite understood. She dug deeper. Every single one had human diplomatic teams working behind the scenes, not official ambassadors, just humans who cared about peace. They had talked to both sides. They had found common ground. They had helped create solutions. Now those humans were gone, and old hatreds were awakening. Two species that had maintained peace for 30 years suddenly had a border dispute. Their human mediator was no longer available. Within a week, both sides had mobilized military forces. Trell sat in his office reading report after report. Each one detailed another failure, another gap, another problem that humans had been quietly solving without asking for recognition. His communicator chimed, an automated message. It was playing on all frequencies across Council space. This is a recorded message for the Galactic Council. We notice you are experiencing some difficulties. Please understand that these are not attacks. We did not sabotage anything. We simply stopped maintaining systems that we built and you claimed as your own. We stopped solving problems that you pretended did not exist. We stopped filling gaps that you refused to acknowledge. You taught us that our contributions had no value. We learned that lesson. Now you can learn to manage without us. Goodbye. The message ended. Lorne looked at Dr. Cass. What have we done? The scientist shook her head slowly. We drove away the people who held everything together, and now we get to watch it all fall apart. 3 months passed. The problems grew worse. The Viridian species faced complete economic collapse. These amphibious traders had built their entire economy around partnerships with human merchants. Humans had been fair trading partners. They paid on time. They honored contracts. They never tried to cheat. Now 90% of Viridian trade deals were gone. Other species started demanding higher prices. They delayed payments. Some refused to honor existing agreements. The Viridians had no leverage. They had depended on human reliability to build their reputation. Without that foundation, everything crumbled. Ambassador Myra, leader of the Viridian delegation, stood before the council with tears running down her green skin. My people are starving. We need help. We need trade agreements. We need something. Trell shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The council will consider aid packages. We do not need aid. We need trading partners who keep their word. We had that with humans. You drove them away. Other species began sharing similar stories. The Kelvin people, small reptilian beings, revealed that humans had been teaching their children for free. Human volunteers had run schools on 12 Kelvin worlds. They had taught reading, mathematics, science, and philosophy to students from 6 different species together. Those schools closed overnight. Thousands of children lost their teachers. Parents scrambled to find alternatives, but nobody else wanted to teach multiple species in one classroom. It was too complicated, too much work. Except humans had done it gladly. Pren visited one of these schools. She walked through empty hallways decorated with student artwork. Drawings covered the walls showing humans and aliens holding hands. Crayon pictures of spaceships and planets. Finger paintings of families that included different species. In one classroom, she found a message on the board, written in simple letters. Remember that being different makes us interesting, not wrong. Love, Teacher Allen. Pren touched the words gently. She had attended a human-taught school as a child. A human woman had helped her learn to read when everyone else said her species was too slow. That teacher had spent extra time with her, had believed in her. That teacher was gone now, along with all the others who cared. The medical crisis deepened. A plague broke out on the station Gamma 7. It was not a new disease, just an old one that humans had helped control decades ago. Human doctors had developed a treatment protocol. They had trained local medical staff. They had shared everything openly. But the disease mutated slightly. The old treatment did not work as well. Medical teams needed to adjust the approach. They tried to contact human researchers who had specialized in this area. No response, not because humans were being cruel, simply because humans were not listening anymore. Gamma 7 requested emergency council assistance. Trell approved sending the best available doctors. They arrived 3 weeks later. By then, 2,000 people had died. The human protocol would have saved most of them, but humans had taken their expertise with them. Dr. Cass reviewed the medical reports. She made a discovery that shook her deeply. Humans had been sharing disease research that saved billions of lives, not millions, billions. They had worked on cures for 70 different illnesses that affected other species. They had never asked for payment, never demanded recognition, just quietly saved lives because they could. Why did they do this? Dr. Cass asked Rena during a private meeting. The aquatic delegate floated in her suit, bioluminescent patterns pulsing slowly. Because they are human, they see suffering and try to fix it. They see problems and try to solve them. They see people in need and try to help. We mistook that generosity for weakness. Communication networks continued degrading. The relay system that humans had improved finally collapsed completely. 80% of galactic communication went offline. Species that depended on constant contact found themselves isolated. Trade negotiations that required real-time discussion became impossible. Families separated across systems lost touch with each other. The Council tried to rebuild the network. Engineers from a dozen species worked together. They studied the human designs. They understood the basic concepts. But humans had made thousands of small improvements over the years, little optimizations that added up to massive efficiency gains. Nobody had documented all those changes. The humans had just fixed things as they noticed problems. Now those fixes were gone, and nobody else had noticed the problems in the first place. Trell received a message from his daughter. It had taken 6 days to route through the damaged communication network. She lived on a distant colony world. She had married a human engineer 5 years ago. Message was simple. Father, I am leaving with my husband. He is going to join his people wherever they went. I am going with him. You taught me to fear humans my whole life, but Daniel showed me what real kindness looks like. He fixed things without being asked. He helped neighbors without expecting thanks. He made our community better just by being part of it. You drove away the best people in the galaxy because you were too proud to see their value. I hope someday you understand what you lost. Goodbye. Trell read the message 17 times. His daughter was gone, choosing humans over her own species, choosing love over fear. He wanted to be angry, but he could only feel empty. Long-range sensors detected something unusual in uncharted space. A massive energy signature, power readings that exceeded anything in Council territory, signs of industrial construction on a scale never before witnessed. The humans were not hiding, they were building. Rena studied the sensor data with growing unease. They are not just surviving out there, they are thriving. We should make contact, Prin suggested. Apologize, ask them to return. They will not come back, Rena said. Would you, after being treated this way? Then what do we do? Rena looked at the younger counselor. We learn to survive without them. We try to fix what they fixed for us. We attempt to fill the gaps they filled. And we hope that someday, somehow, we can earn their forgiveness. But even as she said it, Rena knew the truth. Some betrayals could not be forgiven. Some departures were permanent. And some lessons came far too late to matter. The emergency council session started at dawn. Every delegate attended. For the first time in 50 years, nobody was absent. The chamber felt crowded and tense. Trell called for order. His voice sounded tired. We must vote on our response to the human departure. I have received proposals from multiple factions. We will hear each one. Counselor Darren stood first. The silicon-based life form moved slowly to the speaking platform. Light reflected off his crystalline body. I propose we leave the humans alone. They asked to go. We let them go. Their choice is clear. They violated treaties by abandoning their territory. Another delegate shouted. What treaties? Darren shot back. The ones where we taxed them triple, the ones where we denied them basic representation, those treaties. The chamber erupted into argument. Security drones moved closer to maintain order. Rena raised her voice above the noise. I have information the council needs to hear. Classified files were leaked last night. They detail systematic discrimination against humans spanning 80 years. She activated a holographic display. Document after document appeared. Records showed human candidates applying for council positions, all rejected despite having better qualifications than those selected. Statistical analysis proved a pattern. Humans were automatically denied regardless of merit. More files appeared, evidence that claims of human aggression were fabricated, reports that showed humans defending themselves from pirate raids that Council forces ignored, data proving that human expansion was actually slower than average for spacefaring species. "This is propaganda," Trell declared, but his voice lacked conviction. "This is truth," Pren countered. She stood up, her small frame shaking with emotion. "My grandparents died in the Crimson Plague 30 years ago, except they did not die. Human doctors saved them. A medical team worked for 3 weeks straight without sleep to find a cure. They saved 8 million lives on my homeworld. We gave those doctors medals. We threw parades. But we never gave humans a voice in this council. We thanked them for saving us, then went back to treating them as second-class citizens." The chamber went quiet. Pren's species rarely showed strong emotion. Seeing her angry shocked many delegates into silence. Counselor Darren spoke again. "I have a confession. 40 years ago, my entire species was dying. Our star was becoming unstable. We had no technology to evacuate billions of people. We asked the Council for help. Every species refused. Too expensive. Too complicated. Not their problem." He paused, his crystalline body dimming slightly. Then a human science team arrived. Not sent by their government, just volunteers who heard about our crisis. They brought new shield technology. They taught us how to stabilize our star. They stayed for 2 years helping us. When they finally left, they gave us all their research freely. Said we might need it again someday. They saved my entire species. We never even thanked them properly. Other delegates began sharing similar stories. A reptilian ambassador described how humans mediated a border dispute that would have led to war. An avian counselor admitted that human engineers designed the water systems his planet depended on. A mammalian delegate revealed that human teachers had educated her children when local schools refused to accept mixed-species students. Story after story, help given freely, problems solved quietly, lives saved without asking for recognition. Trell listened to all of it. Each story felt like a weight on his chest. His daughter's message kept replaying in his mind. She had chosen a human over her own family. At the time, he thought she was betraying her people. Now he wondered if she had simply chosen correctly. "I move that we send a diplomatic mission," he said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. "We find them. We apologize. We ask them to return under better terms." "They will refuse," Rana said gently. "Perhaps, but we should try." The vote was called. The council split into 3 groups. Darren's faction wanted to leave humans alone, 47 delegates. Trell's group wanted to apologize and negotiate, 39 delegates. A third group, led by a militant species called the Kralin, wanted to force humans to return, 34 delegates. No majority, no clear path forward. Arguments continued for hours. Darren's group insisted that humans had earned the right to be left in peace. Trell's faction believed reconciliation was possible. The Kralin demanded that human resources and technology return to Council control. "They stole Council assets," the Kralin commander hissed. "Our laws say we can recover stolen property by force." "They took their own innovations," Pren argued. "Everything they removed, they invented. We just used it freely." "They shared it voluntarily. That makes it Council property." "That makes us thieves who abuse generosity," Darren said coldly. The debate raged for 3 days. The council chamber became a battleground of words. Ancient alliances fractured. New coalitions formed. Some species threatened to leave the council entirely. On the 4th day, a message arrived, broadcast on all frequencies, not from humans, from 7 other species. "We are departing council space to join the humans. They have invited us. They offered partnership, not subordination. Fair trade, not exploitation. We go willingly to help build something better. Any species that treated humans with respect is welcome to join us. Coordinates are attached. The Galactic Council is not invited." The message ended with a list. Names of species that had helped humans over the years, species that had traded fairly, species that had stood up for human rights when others would not. Those species immediately began receiving contact from human representatives, offers of alliance, technology sharing agreements, cultural exchange programs. Everyone else got silence. The council fractured completely. Some species left immediately to find the humans. Others stayed but stopped cooperating with former allies. The Kralin began mobilizing military forces, claiming they would retrieve human assets by force. Trell watched his political career collapse. His faction dissolved as members defected to other groups. His own staff submitted resignation letters. He sat alone in his office late one night. The city outside his window looked darker than usual. Power rationing had started. Too many systems failing without human maintenance. A small hologram activated on his desk. His daughter's face appeared. "Father, I heard you tried to negotiate. Thank you for attempting, but we are not coming back. We found people who value us. We found a place where our children will be welcomed, not tolerated. I hope you understand. I still love you, but I love my new family more." The hologram faded. Trell understood then, really understood. The humans were not angry, they were not seeking revenge. They were simply done with people who had never valued them properly. And no apology would change that. Rena's ship was small, just a diplomatic vessel with a crew of 8, not military, not threatening. She hoped that would matter. The coordinates from the human message led to uncharted space, 3 weeks of travel through empty systems. No other ships, no relay stations, just stars and silence. Then sensors detected something impossible. "Commander," her pilot said quietly, "you need to see this." The view screen showed a Dyson swarm, thousands of orbital structures surrounding a blue giant star, solar collectors drinking starlight, construction platforms building more rings, habitats clustered like jewels on a string, ships from dozens of species working together on expansion projects. The scale defied imagination. This was not a hidden colony. This was a new civilization. "Open communication channels," Rena ordered. A human face appeared on screen, Director Hayes. She looked exactly the same as in her final message to the council, professional, calm, neither welcoming nor hostile. "Ambassador Rena, we detected your approach 3 days ago. You may dock at Platform 7. We will talk." The meeting room surprised Rena. It was not sterile or cold. Comfortable furniture in various sizes accommodated different body types. Art from multiple cultures decorated the walls. A window showed the Dyson swarm construction continuing outside. Hayes entered with 3 others, a Viridian trader, a Kelvin educator, a crystalline being from Darren's species. All wore similar casual uniforms, all moved with quiet confidence. "Thank you for seeing me," Rena began. Hayes sat across from her. "You came alone, you asked permission, you showed respect. That matters. What do you want?" "The council wants to apologize. We want to negotiate your return." "No." The word was soft but absolute. Hayes did not sound angry, just certain. "We can offer better terms, fair representation, equal taxation, protection for your colonies." "We do not need your protection. We do not want your terms. We do not trust your promises." The Viridian trader leaned forward. "I am Myra. You know my species from Council Space. We were dying there, economically, culturally. The humans invited us here. In 6 months we have rebuilt everything we lost. We have fair trading partners. We have dignity. Why would we go back to being exploited?" Rena turned to the Kelvin. "And your people?" The small reptilian smiled. "Teacher Allen is here. She runs a school for 1,200 children from 8 species. Everyone learns together. Nobody is turned away. Nobody is charged fees. The humans believe education is a right, not a privilege. My children are thriving. We can implement those policies in council space, Rena argued. You had 80 years to implement them, Hayes said. You chose not to. Why should we believe you now? Rena had no answer. She looked out the window at the massive construction project. What are you building? A home, a real one, where species work together because they choose to, not because they are forced. Where innovation is shared freely because we trust each other. Where children of any species can learn and grow without facing discrimination. The council can change. Hayes shook her head. The council will always put its own interests first. We put community first. That is the difference. The crystalline being spoke. Its voice came through a translator. I am Vel, Director Hayes, may I explain? Hayes nodded. Ambassador Rena, my species nearly died 40 years ago. Humans saved us, not for profit, not for political advantage, because they saw people suffering and chose to help. That is who they are. That is who we want to be with. The council sees everything as a transaction. Humans see relationships as sacred. Do you understand the difference? Rena did. She understood too well. Can I see more of what you have built? Hayes considered for a moment. Yes, but you may not record or transmit anything back to council space without permission. Agreed. Agreed. They toured the growing civilization for 3 days. Rena saw hospitals where humans and aliens worked together to develop new treatments. Research facilities where scientists from 20 species collaborated without barriers. Manufacturing centers where technology flowed freely between all partners. She watched a construction crew building a new habitat ring. Humans worked alongside Veridians, Kelvins, silicon-based workers, and others. They communicated in a mix of languages, using translation devices and hand signals. They laughed together during breaks. They helped each other solve problems. One human engineer noticed her watching. He walked over, wiping grease from his hands. Can I help you with something? I am just observing. What are you building? Housing for new arrivals. We have 3 more species joining us next month. We need space for 15,000 people. You are giving them homes for free. We are giving them a chance to build homes together. Everyone contributes. Everyone benefits. That is how communities work. Not in council space. The engineer smiled sadly. I know. I lived there for 34 years. I paid my taxes. I followed your laws. I tried to be a good citizen. But your laws were designed to keep me as a second-class member. Here, I am just a person, same as everyone else. He returned to his work. That night, Rena met with Hayes again. I need to return. I will tell the council what I saw, but I know they will not listen. Some might, Hayes said. Some species treated us fairly. Those species are welcome here. We sent them invitations. Several have already accepted. And the rest of us? You are not our enemies, but you are not our friends. We will maintain diplomatic silence. We will not trade with the council. We will not share technology. We will not participate in your politics. The Free Systems Alliance is separate from Galactic Council space. Permanently. What if we attack? Hayes' expression did not change. We hope you do not, but we are prepared if you do. This time, we will not ask for permission to defend ourselves. Rena prepared to leave the next morning. Hayes walked her to her ship. I am sorry, Rena said quietly, for all of it. I believe you, but sorry does not rebuild 80 years of trust. It does not heal all the damage. It does not bring back the humans who suffered under your laws. What would it take for reconciliation? Hayes thought for a long time. Prove you changed, not with words, with actions. Show us a council that values all species equally. Give us a reason to trust again. Maybe in 100 years our grandchildren can be friends. But not us. No, not us. Some things break permanently. Rena's ship departed slowly. She watched the Dyson swarm shrink in the distance. Behind her, humans and their allies continued building something beautiful. Ahead of her, Council space waited, broken, declining, paying the price for decades of arrogance. She had seen the future, and the future belonged to people who valued each other. The Council military fleet assembled in secret, 400 warships from 17 species. The Kralin commander led them. His species valued strength above all else. They saw the human departure as theft, saw the growing Free Systems alliance as a threat. Trell opposed the mission. He had learned his lesson, but he no longer had enough influence to stop anything. His political power had collapsed along with Council infrastructure. The fleet jumped to hyperspace. Admiral Brooks received warning 30 minutes before they arrived. Human sensors detected the incoming warships while they were still 3 light-years away. He had time to prepare. All defensive platforms online, he ordered. Notify our alliance partners. Combat protocols active. But remember, we disable only. No kills unless absolutely necessary. The human flagship hung at the center of a defensive network built by 30 species. Not just human technology, collaborative design, Viridian shield systems, Kelvin targeting computers, crystalline power cores. Every species contributed their best innovations. The Council fleet dropped out of hyperspace in attack formation. Traditional military doctrine, ships in neat rows, weapons hot. This is Kralin Commander Voss. You are occupying disputed territory. You possess stolen Council assets. Surrender immediately or we will take them by force. Brooks opened a channel. His face appeared on every Council ship's view screen. This is Admiral Brooks of the Free Systems Alliance. You are in our space without permission. You have 30 seconds to reverse course. This is your only warning. You have no authority here, human. We have the authority that comes from defending our home. 20 seconds. The Kralin fleet opened fire. Missiles and energy weapons filled space with destruction. It looked overwhelming. 400 ships focusing their power on human defensive positions. The defensive network activated. Gravity wells appeared between the fleet and the platforms. Missiles detonated early, caught in artificial singularities. Energy beams bent around the defensive stations, redirected harmlessly into empty space. Then the Free Systems Alliance revealed what they had built. Ships that could jump to faster-than-light speeds for exactly 3 seconds, just long enough to relocate behind enemy positions. Weapons that used relativistic physics to strike from unexpected angles. Most importantly, coordination. 30 species working as one. Each ship knew exactly where every other ship would be. Humans specialized in rapid movement. Viridians handled shields. Kelvins managed targeting. Silicon-based crews controlled power distribution. The battle lasted exactly 7 minutes. Every Council warship was disabled, not destroyed, engines offline, weapons dead, life support still functioning, communications working. 0 casualties on either side. Brooks opened channels to all Council ships simultaneously. You came here to take what you thought was yours, but nothing here belongs to the Council. Everything we built ourselves. Everything we have, we earned through cooperation and mutual respect. We could have destroyed your fleet. We chose not to, because we are not your enemies. We are simply not your subjects anymore. On the Kralin flagship, Commander Voss stared at his dead controls. His entire fleet had been neutralized in minutes, not by superior numbers. By superior coordination and technology he could not begin to understand. His communication screen activated. A young human woman appeared. Commander, we are sending repair crews to restore your basic systems. You will be able to return to Council space under your own power. Take a message back. Tell them we want to be left alone. Tell them we are not coming back. Tell them we are not weak. We are simply done with them. The screen went dark. Trell received the news in his office. The military mission had failed completely. The council looked weak and foolish. Several more species immediately announced they were leaving to join the Free Systems Alliance. He composed a message to his daughter, told her he was proud of her choice, told her she had been right about everything, told her he loved her. She never responded. Some distances were too great to cross. Rena became the new council leader through a complicated election process. Her first act was issuing a formal apology to humanity. She broadcasted on all frequencies. The Galactic Council acknowledges systematic discrimination against humans spanning 83 years. We acknowledge that we undervalued their contributions. We acknowledge that we drove away people who wanted nothing more than fair partnership. We apologize. We hope that someday, somehow, we can earn forgiveness. The message reached Free Systems Alliance space. Hayes read it. She drafted a response. Apology acknowledged. Forgiveness is not ours to give. We are not victims seeking vengeance. We are people building a better future. We wish the Council well. We hope you learn from your mistakes, but we will not return. We have found something better. 50 years passed. Council space stabilized eventually. Species learned to maintain the systems humans had built, learned to solve the problems humans had solved, but everything was harder, less efficient, more expensive. Some species thrived, many struggled, a few collapsed entirely. The Council never regained its former unity or power. The Free Systems Alliance grew into a major civilization. 147 species working together. No central authority forcing cooperation, just mutual benefit and genuine respect. In a classroom on orbital station New Hope, a human teacher stood before students from 20 different species. Children with scales, fur, feathers, crystal bodies, and skin of every color filled the room. "Today we are going to learn about the Great Departure," she said. "Who can tell me what happened?" A small Kelvin raised one clawed hand. "Humans left the Council because the Council treated them badly." "That is part of it. Anyone else?" A young Viridian spoke up. "Humans left because they wanted to build something better, and they invited others to help." The teacher smiled. "Both correct. The Council taught humans they did not belong, so humans built a place where everyone belongs. They did not wait for permission. They did not wait for approval. They simply did what needed to be done." She gestured at the window. Outside, the massive station orbited a flourishing world. Ships from dozens of species came and went freely. Construction continued on new habitats. Gardens floated in zero gravity, tended by mixed-species crews. The Council is still there, still functioning, still watching us. Some of them hope we will return. Some of them are angry we left. Most of them have simply moved on. A human child raised her hand. "Will we ever go back?" The teacher shook her head gently. "No, we built something better here, not perfect. We still have problems, we still make mistakes, but we solve them together, as equals, as friends, as family." She pulled up a historical image. The old council chamber, empty seats where humans used to sit, delegates arguing while infrastructure crumbled around them. "They waited too long to see our value. We did not wait to prove it." The lesson continued. Children learned about cooperation and dignity and respect. They learned that walking away from toxicity was strength, not weakness. They learned that building something new was often better than fixing something broken. Outside, the Free Systems Alliance thrived, not because humans were special, because people who valued each other could accomplish anything. The Council watched from a distance, still waiting, still hopping. They would wait forever. Because some doors, once closed, stayed closed permanently. And the humans had found better doors to open.